We appear to be on the precipice of very, very dangerous times. There's the India-Pakistan conflict. You've mentioned Ukraine, Russia. There's obviously Israel, Gaza. Now, America's got Trump, okay? And he's trying to bring peace through strength. We, of course, have Keir Starmer, don't we?
Yes.
Do you think he's fit? Do you think he's fit to be, in a place like this, making decisions like Churchill made, dealing with the potential for World War III?
No, I think that Patrick, you talk about Ukraine and what's happening there, and everybody says, "Oh, well, Trump's too weak on Russia, and he should be doing more." And actually, I think that the stuff I'm seeing suggests that the Americans are now toughening up, and you saw what they did the other day. They gave more Patriot missiles to help protect the Ukrainians. Whatever you say about Trump, he was the guy. He was the guy who gave the Ukrainians. He broke the taboo on giving lethal weaponry to Ukraine. Obama didn't. Biden didn't. Biden didn't when he was vice president. Trump did when he was president, and he gave them those Javelin missiles, and he's continuing to supply absolutely crucial weaponry to the Ukrainians. Yes, look, he's trying to make peace. He's trying to do it from a position of strength. I think what's happening now in Washington is that the scales are falling from the eyes of the President Trump and his advisors about Russia. And the basic problem is that they thought we can make a reset with Russia. We can do a deal with Putin. It'll be a great. Putin doesn't want a deal, right? It's not his business model to have friendship with the United States. Putin is in power because he tells the Russian people that Russia is ringed by adversaries, by enemies, led by the United States. If he has a rapprochement, a new friendship with America, he destroys his central domestic political argument for his own existence or his own leadership. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's just a mistake to think that he wants to do. He doesn't want to do a deal. He wants to keep going. He wants to keep causing trouble in Ukraine. He'll keep pushing, not just in Ukraine, but everywhere else that he can, in the Baltic states, Georgia, wherever. He'll keep being aggressive and revanchist. And I think that the Trump White House has got this. And what I hope now is that they will do what Trump said he was going to do before the election, which is hit Putin with the really swinging sanctions. As you know, Lindsey Graham's got a big secondary sanctions bill before Congress. He got about 77 signatures. I mean, this will be really, really tough stuff. 500% sanctions on any country around the world trading in Russian
so you think Trump might pivot? You think that we might see President Trump, the rhetoric coming out of him in the coming weeks, which is actually Putin is a very, very bad guy and we're going to support Ukraine. And what, forget a deal? Let's just beat him?
I hope so. I can't be certain that's what's going to happen. Honestly, Patrick, I think that we have to recognize that with President Trump, he thinks very much in personal terms, right? And you see, what he remembers about Russia and Putin is that for 2 years or so, the Democrats and the legal establishment tried to hit him with this stuff about his relationship with Russia that was not true. And it wasn't, and he remembered, do you know what I mean? And so I think Putin is an odious tyrant, and I think he's a war criminal and should be in The Hague. But for Trump, unfortunately, he connects him with the
smear campaign against himself.
That's it. So I think he'll get to the right place.
Right.
But I'm trying to get people to understand what's going through his head. But if you look at what he does, if you look at the actions that he's taken, if you look at the support that he's given to Ukrainians, look at the minerals deal, which calls for a free, sovereign and secure Ukraine, that's massively positive. And it means that Ukraine has a long-term economic partnership with the most powerful country on earth. it's a very good long term.
Probably quite good for the Americans as well.
It is. Well, it is. But you should look at the terms of the deal that they signed. It's
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C-18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GBNews discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GBnews to start protecting yourself digitally today.
Well, talking of a deal,
yes.
the news broke on my drive up here today that potentially we are about to get some kind of trade deal with the Americans.
Oh, yes.
But you've just come back from Washington. Let me finish. You've just come back.
I discovered this yesterday. As often in my life, I knew I had the scoop. Yes.
Right. Well, talk to me about this. You've just got back from Washington.
Yes.
So are you responsible for this then?
Well, no, I'm not. No, but Brexit certainly is.
Right. What is it, by the way? First, sorry. What is it?
Brexit is certainly responsible because we wouldn't have been able to do this deal individually with the United States if we weren't outside the European Union. That's for ding dang sure. Look, this deal is it's not as far as I understand it. I had a very brief conversation with some friends last night. It's not what we ultimately are going to go for, which is a proper all singing, all dancing free trade deal with the US. This is more a return to the status quo ante bellum Trumpium, if you see what I mean. This is so it's getting rid of some of the tariffs, as I understand it.
Yeah.
And we'll have to wait for the details, but it's getting rid of the tariffs. But the crucial thing is to stop this nonsense about 25% tariffs on Jaguar Land Rover and 100% tariffs on British film. This is insane, and we need to get rid of that as fast as possible.
Okay.
So I think it's a lot of progress on that area.
But this is a victory for Keir Starmer, isn't it? Just off the back of a UK-India trade deal. He's going great guns.
Yeah, thanks to Brexit, he's certainly reaping the dividends of that policy, which he of course signally failed to support at the time, as I recall. In fact, tried to overturn it 48 times in Parliament. Look, I think the India deal actually is a pretty good deal. I'm not certain I would have, when I was running it, and we started obviously the negotiations ages ago with our Indian friends, with Narendra Modi. There's a bit in it that I think is a bit of a try on by the Indians, which is this thing about the next carve-out for Indian workers. I don't know if you've seen this. There's a carve-out for Indian workers in the UK. They don't have to pay national insurance contributions. I thought that was a complete wind-up when it was presented to me ages ago, and I don't think that the then International Trade Secretary Liz Truss felt the same, as far as I can.
Why? Why was that a wind-up?
Because look, it's just why shouldn't everybody working in this country pay the same basic taxes on their salaries? No, I mean it's not so.
But Labour's gone for it. They've gone for it,
and they've gone for it because they want, in the wider interest of a deal. I'm not saying I would have done it, but it's good news. Look, it's good news for many other bits of the economies. It's good news for British services industry. Good news for supermarkets. Good news for whiskey exports. Scotch whiskey exporters think it will probably add another billion or so. And the Indian market for British produce is huge. And one of the most interesting things about patterns of international trade in the last 20, 30 years is, we've seen China shoot up, our trade with China, 45-degree increase in India. It's been much slower, even though it's a really fantastic market for us, and amazing friendships and relationships between Britain and India.
Okay, so you don't think that there's been a bit of a sellout here by Starmer?
Look, I mean, I think there's a limit. I wouldn't have done that particular thing, but I think it's overall very positive that they've got the deal.